5 years later, I've yet to hear him say anything bad about the fact that I abandoned him that night. Which I guess just goes to show that he's a stand-up guy, and sometimes what you really need is a jerk for a friend. So, on which note, so we've heard a bit about Chris on his way to Montreal. I first met him in a bar in Vancouver, and a couple weeks later we were living together. But it's less romantic than that sounds. But no, seriously, I mean, thinking about the lead up to this marriage, and thinking about the singular pleasure of having the occasion to speak at the wedding of not just one friend, but two friends, two people who I care about tremendously, getting married to each other. I found myself thinking back to the days that Chris and I shared in our apartment at 3966 Hotel de Ville, and I realized for 2 years we filed taxes at the same address, and many people saw us as something of a unit, which means that under the profoundly liberal laws of this beautiful province we live in now, I think they were married. Some of Chris's qualities, I think, make him a fantastic husband. I mean, first off, he's very tall. I'll just let that one hang. No, seriously. Chris makes fantastic sangria. And as anyone who's worked a stressful job knows, there's nothing better than coming home after a hot day in a non-air-conditioned hospital to find that someone is offering you a glass of red wine with some bits of suspicious fruit in it that will take away all of your problems. Chris is also a fantastic listener. He has that rare quality, which I think all men should aspire to, and few of us ever acquire, to listen without offering solutions, which is kind of a rare talent. And combined with sangria, makes for a pretty potent combination. Now, and this becomes more relevant when we look at the effects of listening and sangria. If you happen to have a few too many sangria and spill some on the floor, Chris is a fantastic man with a mop and bucket. Chris, there's a bottle of Murphy's oil soap in my bathroom cabinet to this day. I had never heard of this stuff till I've lived with him, and ever since then, my floors have gleamed like nobody else's floors. Highly recommend it. Chris has a wonderful sense of spontaneity. He has an ability to roll with the moment. I think if I were to say to him at the end of the night, listen, instead of going home with your wife, let's just drive to Vermont. It's just across the border. I brought your passport. There's at least, I'm flattering myself here a little bit, but I think there's at least like a 40-60 chance. I'd be like, hell yeah, let's go. But fundamentally, the thing which I think is going to make, because everyone knows, marriage is kind of an awful undertaking, right? It's a wonderful, beautiful, terrifying thing. One of the things I think is going to make this one work for the long run and keep on being fantastic is that Chris is the kind of solid guy that you can turn to in a crisis. Whatever happens, you're going to turn around to him and he's going to be sitting there, more or less unflappable, just kind of like, all right, so this happened, so let's get on to the next thing, let's see what we're going to do about it. And I think that's also kind of a rare quality and a wonderful one to have and a wonderful one to bring to this kind of union. So, the other wonderful thing about getting to live with Chris for a couple of years is I got a front row seat on all of this. These two incredible people coming together, falling in love, and becoming a couple. And it is a wonderful joy to be here today and to see where that's all ended up and to see where that's going to keep on going for a long many years to come. I wanted to speak a little bit, although I'm less qualified, about Jen's qualities that might make her a fantastic wife. And I hope she'll forgive me for this. We'll see how this one goes down.